Hey everybody, how you doing? It is interesting day. We are still a little worn out from being up so late for New Year's, which was very fun. We had a really interesting time. We did have some technical issues where we haven't run Jackbox for a year. Last time we ran it was for New Year's Eve, and so I had thought we used an old laptop, but we did not. But that old laptop we can't use, and so the battery's, expanding or whatever. So that's not great. So we, I was attempting to set it up on the new laptop, and the tools would not work that allow us to sync it into vMix. And it was crazy. And so then I realized that we had used another computer last year, probably because that one wasn't working well, the old laptop, and got it working. And thankfully, at the last possible minute, I think we were about 7 minutes late. But I am looking forward to painting. I hope everybody had a good New Year. Yesterday was nice. We went to have some lunch with my mom. Amazingly enough, hey Jim. Amazingly enough, the restaurant I wanted to go to was open. So that was a treat. I remember when we used to go with our friend and his sister, and they would come and there would be nothing open. The only place that was open was Chili's, which I'm not a big fan of Chili's. And so, I mean, we'd go because what else are you going to do? But it was crazy. But yeah, I'm going to be painting some more Marvel United. So I finished. I mean, there's probably some more I would like to do to them. Let's cut to that here. I will probably do a little bit of fabric stuff once these, maybe like some crosshatch, very, very faint crosshatch, maybe. I think they look pretty cool. I went in and did a little bit of highlighting on the seams. These batons need to have some of the shading that I did on here. I haven't done that yet. I'll get to it. But I want to let them dry. I painted the bases and I painted the edge of the base, and so they are ready to go for varnish. Pretty much as is, but I will, as I said, I will do the batons. Maybe I'll do that today. We'll see. They turned out great. Between the two, the three different. So these two were painted similar style, different paints. This was the ball red from Citadel, which I like it. For whatever reason, it looks cooler on here than it does in the bottle, meaning more blue. And then this is the bright red speed paint, which I very much like. And then this one is, I think I already put that one back, but I meant to say these two were undercoated differently. This was dry brushed. No, this is rattle can, and this was airbrushed. And so I feel that the rattle can turns out pretty good. I probably should have done a little bit more highlighting there, but I mean, it's okay. His head's tilted, maybe it's a little dark there. I mean, that's the whole point of the zenithal highlighting. And it had a kind of a sandy texture, but it really wasn't. And then I put on it was very white, and I put on the contrast basilicanum gray, and it came out with a different look, but I like it. I almost want to dry brush these here, especially like between the two of these. This one's brighter. And notice this came out kind of spotty too, almost like the rattle can. And that was because I think I had some issues with the airbrushing. I probably didn't have the mix right with the air compressor, and things are getting smoother. Let's see, do I have Shang-Chi here from Scott's? I thought I did. Let me look for him. Oh, you know what? I had to paint him. So today I actually primed some stuff. And I believe I primed him. I sure hope so, because that was the whole goal. There he is. So I'd had him out here before. And he's got some issues. Now he's gonna have dark hair, so I'm not gonna worry about these. And then, it's gonna be, I actually should look. I have, I should pull it up. They are going to look different for sure because the intensity of the face, and these two already don't look the same. You know, the contrast is slightly, the skin tone is slightly different. Hey, Paul Wooten. But our stream was fun. We were both dressed up, which was awful fun. I am looking for Shang-Chi. And this computer, this Mac, everything logs out. Just so much stuff logs out. And it's so frustrating. I thought I pulled up that folder. Let's see. Oh, here it is. And I just, every time I get on it, I'm logging in on, you know, and part of the problem is I'm using multiple logins, different logins from Google, including our, I think BGG. It does. I have some stuff on BGG from here. I have all the Marvel United photos on there. So his hair is kind of a brown on this one. It's cool. It's more of the orange, or the red. So I will use the red from Army Painter here, this speed paint. I almost dropped that. Bright red, reddish orange. I like it. I think that his outfit looks more like that. He's got some kind of gold trim and things like that. So it's kind of exciting. We played. I enjoy Jackbox, but I get frustrated with I mean, I know part of it's the funness, randomness thing, but I just wish that they had the tools. Well, what I really wish is that they just make some new games that are different. I do enjoy the Murder Party one, even though it's crazy random. The questions aren't, but the way the thing works is frustrating for me. But a lot of people enjoy it. So let's see here. He is got a lot of red. Not as much as the last one. And I've got Electra staged up to do next. I airbrushed her too. So I actually worked on her face the other day, and I pulled out the one I had done previously. I actually kind of like her lips. I don't really remember Electra on any of that stuff, but I kind of like the subtlety of the new face, but the old one looks great, and I love her lips. And you can see her teeth, which I don't know what I did there differently. But yeah, it's cool. So I have 2 of those to do. But they're neat. I really like that many too. I did see the Deadpool, and it was cool to see Jennifer Garner as that part. What airbrush do I use? Okay, you're wanting to start using one. Well, Paul, I love airbrushes. I have far too many. The one I am using lately, so I have 2 that are kind of in my. I have like 15 airbrushes because I'm crazy and foolish. I'm always buying some to try them out. I've actually resisted. This is a Gallery, Gaahleri Ace GHAC 98 Dual. This actually has 2 nozzles, I believe. These guys are new-ish, a couple years at most. They made their, on the high end, this is one of their higher end ones. I feel like when I looked at the box, it was like the level next to the high end one. But what they did, there is a new one called the Mobius that maybe is better, I don't know. It does have a new nozzle that is similar to this, but slightly different. But what they did is they really polished this cup. And I will tell you, it is really pleasant to clean. It comes out, it does take a little bit. I use Iwata airbrush cleaner, or Medea. This is just some of it in a dropper bottle. Medea, let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, this is a big bottle of it. I usually let this soak for a moment once I've got it rinsed. I think it's a great airbrush. They are trying to compete with some of the great ones. I'll show you a really nice one of the basic ones from a really nice manufacturer here in a moment. These are probably $70 now. I think I paid $80, and it was a good deal at the time because they were like $120. That's not cheap. Here's the thing, Paul. If you don't, hey, Angzar, I can't read that. Angzar, okay, Angzar Arts. Yeah, I'm not sure how much you want to spend, but what I did, my first thing, I might as well just answer these questions because I think it's something that's valuable that ends up, I talk about it often, but not that often. I purchased what am I pulling there? I feel like I'm going to break it. That is it. Okay, so I literally have far too many airbrushes. I've resisted, they've had sales. Gallery had a sale, they might even still have a sale going on. I just was like, I don't need another airbrush. No matter, part of what I'm doing is I'm buying them because I like to share, see if I find something that's really good for people. Is this that's the Infinity. Where's the inexpensive one? I have two inexpensive ones. I think this is the one that came with it. Pretty sure. So I bought this kit that was about, is it charged? Yes. Okay, so this is what I sprayed with today. I bought this kit that actually had a few things, but it has this small battery powered rechargeable compressor, and it had this basic airbrush. It is not a great airbrush, but it's a good airbrush, a decent airbrush if you want to just use it for priming and some detail. It's got a lot of nice features. Actually, I like this, that it's actually threaded, although threaded is rough because it gets dirty. Now, I've not used it that much that it's dirty, but I do clean my airbrushes all the time. I will do a bunch of changes while using the airbrush with a mild clean in between, and then I'll do a heavy clean every time because I want the airbrush to work when I get on it. My friend Sebastian does not keep his clean, and I clean it for him whenever I come, and I come to Germany once a year at most. Generally, I came 2 times 2 years ago, but I went there two times. So this is a basic airbrush. It uses parts that are, I mean, if you look at this, there's some similarities. I mean, almost all airbrushes are similar. This has many similarities to the one I just showed you, the Gallery, and potentially you could use the parts. Let's see what the nozzle looks like. I don't think it's the same. I can't remember. As a matter of fact, I'm certain this isn't. This is actually, I believe, more like an older, yes, this is like an old Badger, where the nozzle is threaded in to the head, into the body, essentially. So you can buy those nozzles. They're very hard. This one's actually not bad. Compared to the old Badgers, those were hard. And you can send them in. Badger will take them in and do the work for you. This has a flat side on each side, so you can use a wrench. And I feel like I replaced this one. I think I was trying to maybe change it out to a larger needle, because I think it came with 2 needles, and I dropped it. Not the whole airbrush, just that little tip. And so I used another one, and it worked fine. As a matter of fact, in that case, I was trying to swap it out, I think, but I might have another one of these broke it. But you can buy parts, but they're not made. The manufacturer generally does not make parts. The deal is that they're similar to so many other ones that you can just use those other parts. These guys are trying to make parts, which makes them very high on the scale for me. The downer is they're not everywhere. I had to buy this airbrush through Amazon. I don't know that you can buy them other places, maybe. They're nice. They're trying hard to do a nice job, and they keep introducing new airbrushes. Far too many for my opinion, but that's only because I'm crazy and I would consider even buying them. The other one that I bought, which is actually a little bit more of a deluxe one, these are recent acquisitions. I think these are actually probably nearly a year old now. This one might actually be over a year. This one is within the year. This is a Harder & Steenbeck. It is my 3rd Harder & Steenbeck airbrush. I don't know that you can tell the difference, but this is not milled and polished like the other one is now. It isn't necessarily required to do that, but I like so far how great this one has been. But Harder & Steenbeck, while not at every store, easily you can buy parts. There are online retailers that sell parts. Amazon I believe sells parts, but they definitely have parts for these on the gallery store. I actually had a problem with this when I got it. The original needle was bent and I was having weird problems, and I'm like, what's going on? And then I finally ran my fingers over the tip, you know, very delicately, and I could tell that it was tugging, and so it had a kink. So I actually got out a photographer's loop and looked at it, and sure enough, there was a bend. And I tried to straighten it and couldn't get it great. So I wrote them. I'm like, hey, bought the airbrush, used it one time, had a problem, and they sent me a new one, fully retail package. So they are definitely, actually I believe this, no, this belongs to this one. So they're doing a good job in that regard, and their customer service was fantastic. And they're eager to make an impression. This is a great airbrush. It is a basic airbrush. This one's ridiculous. I bought the, needle went the wrong way out the brush and bent the tip. Hey, Sarah, so you can actually watch the stream though. It was fun. How you doing? Harbor Freight. So I have one Harbor Freight airbrush. They don't make that one anymore. And I've thought about buying the Avant, but you know what? I had a discount coupon, went in there to buy it, because I know they're the same, similar to like even this airbrush. And I just decided I didn't need it, even though it would be great to have one to just recommend. I don't even have the storage for them anymore. I have a fishing tackle box that I use that's really great. And it's full. These two are out this one and the gallery are out all the time now, so they're not inside the box because I use them often enough. This one is the basic one. Now again, like I said, this is a Squidmar model. They did several ones for them where he got paid some money on that, or they got paid. I would never buy the gold, but I just thought I wanted to support his thing, but I wished I'd gotten, I think there is a silver, or there was a silver maybe. I ordered early enough that this was available. This is no longer available. I prefer the chrome. Chrome is great. But the great thing about this airbrush is it has multiple settings. So this is like the wide open setting. And when you use this airbrush, it actually doesn't pull back. This is a beginner airbrush, like teaching you how the motor memory of using an airbrush. So this one, you can't use it. The reason why they don't want you to just pull back, they want you to have the airflow going first. This should be off. They want the airflow first, then you pull back so that you don't get splatter, or less likely to get splatter. So that's what that does, and it goes full back and you get the whole way. This one has, if you're priming, I'm not really sure why that's, I'm not even sure. I really should mess with each one of these and see. This is if you're doing a base color, and then there's a couple of different layers, different levels of, this is back, but they are different. I guess prime is pretty big if you look at it, because they get a little bit less each time. 2 is actually, so it peaks at 3 and then goes back down to 1 and then full open again. There are things in other airbrushes that let you sort of replicate that. This one has this control at the back, so does this one, that you adjust this so that you can see it. Let's get it focused here. You can see it advancing inside to restrict how much spray you have. So you can do that. That doesn't seem like it's very much there. Now, this one, you can pull back and paint can go, and you could have splatter. Because what happens is you've got the paint coming out, but you've got no air. And so that you could have splatter. I don't usually use that. I've used an airbrush enough that I don't need to run stuff at these adjustments. But I just wanted to see, because this was a really interesting idea. They also have the Evolution, which is the next step up. And you know, these are, I think I paid $100 and something, 110 maybe, plus shipping maybe. They were 90 some euros, I think, which is a very good price. But it's still a lot. They have a basic one. They have the one that's exactly the same as this without this finished stuff on it. That's about that price. The Evolution is more expensive, of course, and then the Infinity, which I have an Infinity, but mine is the older one. They've made some quality of life changes, and one of them was major, which I do wish. I had to fix mine to make it, because I had that problem. It basically, if you can see inside there, there's a piece of Teflon tubing that I had to add because there was like a long gap before it pressed. So doing this, it basically gets started right away. You don't have like a big lag before you have air coming out. So these are very nice. I think I paid $200 for this, which is a very good price. They're basically $250 or more. And it's a great airbrush. It has many fantastic things. It has different sized cups, so do these other ones, and it's got a little teeny cup that you can put in here that you just put the paint in from like a brush or a dropper bottle, so that maybe you're not going to use as much paint. You'd be surprised how much coverage you get with a couple drops of paint. This is really neat. It's a great brush, and I have another one, and I don't have the new one. I like them a lot. I think they're great. They do a great job. The Ultra is amazing, especially for the price, because the nozzles are universal. Actually, they might even be universal on this one. They've changed them a little bit, and they're actually making them out of titanium on the high-end one. But this nozzle, it looks like it needs to be cleaned a little bit here, is the same. I believe it's the same as this nozzle. I mean, they're all the same, but the high-end one is, while you could probably buy that titanium nozzle and use it on these others. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe so. Let's see here. I do love it though that to me, this is what's really great about these, is that they're using the same nozzle. I don't know for sure that this is exactly the same. It might be a larger size or narrower. There's 4 lines here. I think the other one had 3. But I could swap that between the airbrushes. And that is amazing to me, that they have them throughout the line, because the brand that I started with, and I still have many Badger airbrushes, was Badger. And they, my parents gave me one when I was in high school, maybe even junior high. I really became the airbrush guy because I really did a lot of airbrush work. They're great. I love Badger airbrushes. This is a great I didn't really finish this, but Badger airbrushes are really great. They offer a wide range of them. I love the 2020 Sotar, which is a fine art one. But there's our friend John from that helps run the BGG cons. He wanted suggestions, and I suggested that one. And the guy told him, the guy at main dude from Badger, he's like, that's not the airbrush again. He's right. I was being silly because it's too much work for him. It's very tiny. He ended up getting an Anthem 105, I think, which I don't have. So they had, and they still have sales, but a few years back, they had a sale every year on their birthday. And so I just bought all the different airbrushes to try them out. So this is a Renegade Chrome. It's a great airbrush. But they generally don't have the same parts between lines. This is Sotar 2020. This is one I really love. This is the Spirit side feed, which is cool. So you see on this one, you can choose the side and put this cap on it. It's a great airbrush. I have too many. Let me put these back because they're just going to everywhere. I think that was the first one I pulled out. Second one I pulled out. But I have too many, as you are seeing very, very clearly now. Did I pull the Spirit out? I did. But I feel the 50 or $60 one, this is the Extreme Patriot. Great airbrush, has this Mac dial that lets you adjust the flow. It's okay. it tends to leak, but this is a pro brush. There's no guard for the needle, but it's a nice airbrush and a different head, you know, on this one. It's crazy how different they all are, but I love that they're doing all of that at Badger. Let's see what else we got here. Here's an Anthem 155. I don't think that's this one. I think he had the 105. And this is a siphon feed. I like siphon feed if I'm going to be covering a lot of area. Like you have a bottle that you have hanging underneath, and it's a big bottle. So if you're like covering scenery and stuff like that, they're better. But I'm more of a gravity feed painter now because I am doing, that was especially kind of a thing I did with fine art back when I did it. Is there no airbrush in there? Oh, I think that's this one. Let's see here. There's more. Too many. I do love them. I can't keep buying them. It's insane. I can show you my first airbrush too. Let's see. This is they still sell this one. This is an older one. This is not the one I bought. The first that my parents gave me. I'm missing the back. This is a Crescendo. It feels like it is a Pache clone. I don't know that they would agree with me, but it sure seemed like it to me. I never owned a Pache, but I thought, or Posh. Here's my first airbrush that's had a little bit of, this was plastic originally. Actually, this is not it. This is a secondary one that I have. So let me find the original. Here's the original. I put a tall throw. So this is replaced here. I put a large throw on this. Actually, oh gosh, what's his name? At Craig at Badger gave me this a couple years back, I think, at one of the cons. It was very nice of him. And this is also siphon feed. It's a great airbrush, still works 30 some years later, 30 or so. It's great airbrush, still does the job. I have multiple nozzles for this as well. I have multiple nozzles for the Sotar as well. But they're all kind of a little complicated in some ways. They don't have some of the quality of life things that, like if you need to replace the Teflon needle bearing, they have a tool that you can get. I don't have it, that I would love to have, but they want you to just send it to them. And I'm like, well, I mean, I've never replaced it in that one. Here's the needle from Gallery. And this is packaged. I mean, it's actually not the needle. This is the old needle in here. But it's great. I'm happy that they're doing this. Here's the deal. What I'm really happy about is that because of all these manufacturers, things are getting better. This is a side feed, old Badger. So this is a mini version. This is a 100L maybe, or F. I can't remember. It might be a fine. I didn't use this one. I actually bought this to do acrylic, watercolor. You really don't need too many airbrushes. I am just silly. Is this one? But I mean, I have even more. You guys haven't even seen them all. It's ridiculous. I have, did I do these? I did these. This is the chrome. I feel like I'm missing some of the other Badgers, but I probably am not. I probably have them all out. But I also have an Iwata. I have a single Iwata, which I really like as well. You can see they all kind of are similar. Cup's not as polished as the one. But it doesn't really matter, but it has made it nicer for me. This is like $160. Very good airbrush. You wouldn't go wrong with this. All of these, most of these you're seeing on here have this, which is, it's an adapter. And the reason why I basically use them, which is more hardware, not such a great thing, But the reason I do is because I have Badger as well, and Badger has a different connect. And it is smaller. I actually kind of like this old hose, but I don't think they make it like they used to anymore. The old hose has a small connector on here that was a little less obnoxious, and I liked it a lot, but they don't. They still use these, but they don't make the hose. So in reality, if you're not making the hose, in my opinion, they might as well just switch to the larger connector. We'll see. They had a query, like a quiz on Facebook at one time, asking if people thought that they should do that. And I'm like, man, really you should. It's silly to have so many different pieces. Now, of course, I'm all in, right? So I bought all this stuff. Where does this one go? Maybe here. But they're great. I love them all. They all do a good job. But the nice thing about the one thing I was explaining that I started off with is it is, can I put this in here? I feel like I'm not putting these back right, but of course I have two of them out, so I can't really tell. The nice thing about the little compressor thing is you need air to do your painting. And there are options. There is, I haven't seen canned air, but there used to be, and I'm sure it probably still exists, which is truly wasteful in my opinion, right? You can interchange parts on some of these things, Jim. But it depends on the airbrush. So this was, it's YF Yufu. I'm not sure. It's funny, after I bought this, I saw a video from Ninjon, and he covered it, and he was impressed with it as well. I had the same feeling. For me, having a full system for $60, $70 is great. If you're patient, you can absolutely find this on sale. There is, I look at the link on Amazon that I purchased this from, and it's no longer the same name, but it's the same kit. So, you know, I'm sure they just screen this name on here and change it at will. I don't know why. You have gas. It's called gear acquisition. I know. I generally don't go too crazy. I did buy. Did I bring it out here? I don't think. I think I piled it up and still didn't bring it out here. I do it. Part of it is because I want to show you guys, anybody that asks these questions, because a lot of people do, choices. Like, you know, the gallery looked cool to me, and I was like, you know, this seems like a good system. I already knew I liked. Those are the ones I've most recently purchased. I already know I like Badger. I already know I like, you know, I've had that Iwata for a long time, not 25 years or anything like that. But I like to share that information. Not everybody can afford to spend that kind of money. I don't think I should either. But I was good. I did not buy any airbrushes, even though they had some pretty great sales. This kit came with the hose. It might have come with this. There's a Mac Adjust. I don't think so. This one actually is not it. Might have been from another airbrush. I bought another $50 airbrush that Barbados Rex, he has a channel on YouTube that's very good. He is a gunpla guy and vehicles. I don't think I see him do any painting other than testing, but he uses a lot of different airbrushes. But anyway, he recommended one, and it was pretty good. But again, it's another no-name brand. If you're going to spend that kind of money, I don't think it was terribly expensive. You might as well get one with this compressor if you don't have a source for air. So yeah, I turned it on. You don't hear anything. It only makes noise when it's on. So when you have air, it does it. So there's no tank. But I will tell you, it's pretty smooth. And what I do is I just put it in my pocket, and especially if I need to paint outdoors, which I have behind me a spray booth, a little teeny spray booth. My mom is great. She supports me in my insanity for decades, buying me. I mean, her and my dad bought me the airbrush back in the day, and she has bought me compressors and. Which is great. You know, she knows it's something I want. It's a little expensive, and but I have really slowed down. I have two reasonable. I have one tank compressor that's pretty quiet, and then I have a Iwata jet. I can't remember, something jet that does not shut off when you are not spraying. So that one, like that does. There's gosh, it's something jet. And Sprint Jet, but I think mine is just, I know mine is not that. It just stays on while you're using it, and that's fine. What I usually do is I have it near the door of the studio, and I go outside and I will airbrush outside. I generally try to airbrush outside, but using the spray booth has been great. I'm doing a lot smaller work, and it's not quite as labor intensive, you know. So, and I'm also not afraid of dropping stuff because I'm working right there. Outdoors, I could drop it. But anyway, the thing is you want to, so I was talking about the Badger ones, I mean not the Badger, the Harbor Freight ones. I actually meant to buy a second one because I had broken something on mine. I mean literally the beginning of that airbrush. Let me see if I can find it. Actually it's a good airbrush though. It's a very much a clone of the Badgers. Where is that? And it's fine, but it's not a phenomenal airbrush. Here it is. Central Pneumatic. They don't make this one anymore, but it does copy a lot of the styles. It's a good little airbrush. Very small trigger. There's something not tight here, something are too tight. But I dropped it immediately and broke this. And this is like a Badger piece. I had done the same thing when I was young. So this was probably 8 years ago or something like that. Maybe not that long ago. But I wanted this. This was early in my acquisitions. I mean, I had probably 4 or 5 Badger airbrushes, but I wanted this specifically to be a airbrush that I could beat up if I needed to. And sure enough, I beat it up right away. But it was great. It did a nice job doing priming, and it's cool. It's got a little stay to kind of like the back end one. I mean, this is very much aping Badger airbrushes early, you know, the 150, but it has this type of connector on it, and it's nice. It's not great. They don't make this one anymore. I should have bought one more. This still works without. I don't know if you can even see this. It's like a little chunk of this broke off. I literally went into the bathroom in the studio to clean it after I'd done it, and it chunked it. I'm like, oh well. And I thought maybe I'll buy another one, and I just never did. But it works fine. It's doing the job for what I'm doing when I'm doing undercoats. I haven't used this in a while because I have so many airbrushes. I'm constantly switching them up to see what I should be using and recommending for folks. I do wish they'd sell parts. They don't. But like I said, a lot of them are kind of clones of each other. So I imagine there might be, there might not be that many manufacturers. I mean, there's definitely a lot of manufacturers, but I mean in China maybe. But they're good. They're all reasonable. But the little compressor thing's great. And if you type YOUFU, you'll find that one that I bought. I think it shows as a black one, but it's great. It's cool. You know, it does the job. This is really great. The airbrush is fine. But that's a good way to start because then you don't spend too much money, right? You can determine whether you like what you're doing instead of buying a full-on compressor and a whole bunch of parts. You can get started and get going and see if you appreciate it. And there's lots. I mean, I have barely done any. I've done some OSL spray, after the fact type of stuff, and they work great. I don't have the skill completely down on that with minis because that's a different. I feel like I need just a slightly better white paint. I do have acrylic artist ink. I like this, but it's a little too smooth. And you can see I'm crazy. I always buy the large bottles of this stuff, and I'll never get through that. That'll be a bottle that Nikki will have when I pass away. But that's the other thing. Don't overdo it. Like having too many paints. I like the sets, so I know I've admitted online recently I bought the 50 paint set of the War Paints Fanatic stuff from Army Painter, and they're nice. The paints are nice. I didn't have a lot of standard acrylics. This is why I bought this. But I do like buying Pro Acryl from Monument Hobbies. The white, I had a serious problem with it recently, both this one and this one. Now this one was maybe 4 years. I feel like I bought this while, even more than that, but it's made in Canada. They are no longer made in Canada. They are made in Arizona. So I obviously bought it a little while ago. Seems like the bottle's even slightly different. But the pigment was coagulating on both of these whites. So that's probably something to do with the titanium pigment and maybe temperature, I don't know, or heat. I got them thinned up, but this one's too thin, I think, now. Because theirs are actually, that's what's crazy about their paints. I feel they're generally pretty much the right consistency out of the bottle, maybe a little bit of water. And so it was, you know, it's frustrating because I like their paints, but I also had mentioned recently that I primed these minis in Germany with Sebastian's. Did he rattle can these? Yes, he did. These turned out pretty darn great for the undercoating being rattle can, because I had problems with this. Like the paint was coming off of this when I didn't have a handle, and we saw his friend Kai, who's my friend too, and he loaned me this handle at one point, but I didn't want to ask for another one. I like using handles. Sebastian does not use them. He might have one or two, but he's just not. He's been painting for decades, and he's just great. It was coming off here, the rattle can. But I used the white Vallejo Dead White, and I really loved it. And I think it came out super solid white with one coat. So I feel like I need to buy that paint, maybe buy the Vallejo primer as well, just to see. I don't really want to buy primer because I'll show you another giant bottle of paint that I have. This here I bought, wow, you can't even see. So this is how much of the paint is, it's this much left. This is 16 ounces. It will last me forever. It's why I don't want to buy any more paint, because I feel this is a great white. Great white. I think their Style-No-Res, this is Badger as well. Their primers are great. It just isn't coming out very white at the end. And I generally will come back, so I'll be painting them, and then I'll put a coat of white on them. Then I come back and do another coat of white, and it just ends up being gray. And when I used the Vallejo, which is not a large bottle, by the way, on it, so maybe that would be the final coat of white, but then that would be 4 levels. So the way I airbrush these is it's black, entirely black. Then I spray gray at a 45-degree angle, and then I spray white directly from above. It works. It does a great job, but maybe I just do one more coat with the Vallejo white on the top and see how that goes. I don't know. It's so much to think about, and it's silly to worry about it too much, but it is nice to reduce the steps, I will tell you that. But I have 16-ounce bottles of this, the black and the gray. So, and I'm pretty sure I've used more black. As a matter of fact, we can see right now where this one's at. So I've used, it's separated, but I've used this much of it. So I have used about 1/3 of it, probably, maybe a little less than 1/3. So black is the one I paint the most, white is the one I paint the least, and gray's right in the middle. But yeah, there's another thing about having too many paints. You have to mix the bottles. So I feel like I would not have had this problem if I was mixing these regularly. The funny thing is, I will say, I feel like I use this paint all the time, so I don't know why I had problems with it, because it just all of a sudden was clumpy and really kind of a mess. So I got it to thin fine. I mean, Sebastian recovers paints that are ancient. I was saying on the last stream, he recovers bottles of those old Warhammer Citadel paints that were in the bolter shells, both the screw top and the flip top. Flip tops are the worst. I regret ever buying those. I thought, wow, this is great, and they immediately dried up so fast. Anyway, but don't spend too much. Try to get in at a reasonable price and see if you are into it, or if you have somebody that has a setup that's willing to let you try it out. Take them up on the offer, because it's worth it. It's worth it so that you don't get too much money into it. I mean, if anybody lived here, I would totally let them do it, because I understand. I don't like. I mean, I'm always the crazy guy. I've always bought all the the games, and thankfully I'm not as crazy as I used to be about that stuff, because BGG gets a lot. We get a lot of the stuff from the BGG library, and sometimes we'll just buy them directly from Amazon and stuff like that, just to get them. But I love it. But I do have too much stuff, and it's all around me. I have gear. This table's been reorganized again recently, so there's more room on it. I actually had to clean it up for our stream on the 21st, where we had everybody over, because I just needed to have stuff out of the way, and so I was moving miniatures over here. I also put, I don't know if I might have talked about it, but I had this tray, which I showed all the minis, Scott's minis, on this tray, and they didn't even fit. But I put all of those in I bought a $20 ornament box from Michael's, and I was actually able to put almost all of the minis, minus the ones that are already primed, and then a lot of the big ones. I mean, all the giant ones don't fit, including Galactus and Devil Dinosaur and stuff like that. But they all fit in there. It's pretty great. They're meant to hold ornaments, which are light, and these minis aren't that heavy. But it was great because I just need to store them in one place. And so my plan is to start breaking them out and getting them primed, because Scott primed all of the base minis for phase 1, excuse me. So I think he has either they're painted already, or I've got them primed, because he has a bunch at home. So my goal is to get those done soon, so that I can work on maybe a little. I'm going to probably do the base box of Multiverse, because we want to do it on the show again. It would be really fun, but we'll see. So I'm going to use a little bit of this. I have my wet palette out. I'm still using the same paper. This is probably the 5th time or 6th time I've reused this. I am not putting a lot of paint on it, but you can see, here's where I've been using it mostly. There's a ghost of some paint there. But it's been great, because I was trying to do let's keep it sealed and keep it in the fridge, which works. But I still had mildew build up, mold or mildew. I don't have copper. I have another wet palette coming. Gear acquisition syndrome, truthful. I have another wet palette coming from Game Envy, and I think I bought the Turbo Dork one. I wanted the Turbo Dork. I mean, when I ordered that, it was so long ago, I don't even know now. And the Kickstarter, I don't know when it ended. I did talk with the kit at Pateras at Gen Con, and I love their stuff. I've been backing them since the beginning. I think I backed the very first campaign. I haven't backed every campaign, because I don't need to keep buying things, even though I do. I did buy their light, which I really like. I would like to actually use it in here, but I think the camera situation won't make it work. Especially now that I have this new palette. I built a little rack thing over here to hold the Army Painter stuff, and it works. It's good, and it keeps the stuff out of the way. I almost want one on the left too, which would just be insane, but I might build one. I have the parts. And I have the room. The problem is I have this laptop to the left of me that is just probably would not be helpful. So ultimately, maybe not. Okay, so this is the weird thing about these. So this is the different bottle tops that they have, and it doesn't really stay tight. You have to kind of go to the max and then let it go. Now, it does a decent job, but it does dry at the tip. But it doesn't have the problem that these have, where the twist top, when you close it up, more paint comes out, and that's fine. But it's I have to wipe the damn tip all the time, or I'm trying to get it to go on the palette, and that's a little frustrating. I mean, first world problems, I know. Hey, what's going on with that face? I hope that's not on there. Sure does look like it. Well, I will touch that up with a little bit of the Dorito flesh. just the tiniest amount. This is definitely, it's not elf. I don't think I have an elf flesh from them. I don't know what they would call it. I need to change glasses so I can see that. But I really am hoping to paint more. It's kind of like one of my goals for 2025 is to actually just get out and paint a little bit more. Even though I kind of paint more than most of my friends, it's still not enough. Wow. Is that going in there? Boy, that's going to be too light. You're not seeing that. Woof. It's like, it needs to be, oh, that actually helped. Let it dry and add a little bit more and build it up maybe. I might need a little bit of the gray to do this. Hey, thanks Josh, Bob, John for following. I'm just working on some Marvel United minis. I'm working on Shang-Chi. I haven't painted any of the Shang-Chi yet. I am pulling the wrong paint out. Let's put it on the wet palette. But yeah, I'm trying to be better about just buying things. I don't really need it. Wow. So this is the other thing. I haven't done it yet, but you should. I really need this. I have a wire paper clip here, straightened paper clip, to push into the nozzle to make sure it doesn't squirt. So thankfully I used it on the contrast, the speed paint medium. Where is that? Well, I'll use this. I don't want to. But I was just trying to pour some of this out, which is the medium. So it's thinned out, but I also lost about half of it probably, which is fine. I have a big bottle replacement for it, but it squirted out and I'm trying to push it, and you shouldn't be pressing hard. It's the number one thing you need to know on any of these eyedropper bottles. So they all have problems. Man, where is that wire? Could have fallen down. I did have it on one on the desktop on my computer desk. I'm wondering if that's the same one. So this is clear, but it wasn't clearing. Wasn't coming out when I pushed it. Maybe I need to shake it up a little more. I mean, this is a new bottle, but that's my thing. Another thing I want to do is, like, every time I come out, mix 20 bottles of paint. I have enough contrast paints and these a few other brands of paints, and I have a good amount of 20 something 30 Monument Hobby paints. So I got to keep mixing them. It is now I wish I had kids. It's like, hey kid, I need you to mix my paint for me. I'll pay you for that. Wow, it is not coming out of there, and I do not want to press hard. Wow, not a good deal. Why would that not come out? I used this stuff last week. But yeah, you don't want to press too hard. Let me do it upside down. I use an old brush that I tap in a paper clip, tape on a paper clip. That's a good idea. I actually have, you said tape underneath there. That is a great idea. I have, I don't need to use an old airbrush. I have a paintbrush. I have from these kits that I bought of tubes of paints. They come with these. I think these are meant to protect the bristles on the paints. These are very inexpensive, but I feel the quality is not bad. Brushes, but they have these in there to protect the tips, the bristles. So they have them rubber band together by size, and of course they use the color that matches. But I think I might either put, gosh, I may just do that right now. Be a fun idea. If I can find the paper clip. But I don't need the giant paper clip I had there to do it. but I might put it in, pin vise it into the, I did put the drill over here. Do you paint things for other people or only on your own games? So, Neurodivergent Board Gamer, I am painting right now 3 versions of the same mini. This was primed by Scott, or Aldi, the owner of BGG. These are ones I painted. One is a friend of mine's and one is mine. So I'm now doing 3 of the same for all of these. I'm doing that because, number one, they're not going to paint them. I'm like, hey, I'm painting them. Get your minis to me now. My friend that sent me this stuff, he sent this to me last year at this time. And I am still only about 90 minis in on him. I think maybe I'm trying to be done with his so I can send the first wave back to him. He's like, just send them all back at once. I'm like, man, it could be a while. But I really want to get to the point where they're all done. You know, my goal is to, I have a setup to take into the house to paint, like, because I've been hanging with my mom more when she comes out. The problem is sometimes I'm still working in the house on editing things and stuff like that, which I don't like doing. But my goal is to, oh wow, that is really hard. Actually, I don't really want to use that one. That one is the one that I am using for, so here you go, here's all of them. Let's use this bright green one that seems to stick out maybe more than the rest. But yeah, it's a great, those are great paintbrushes and they're really inexpensive. I have a bottle of them somewhere, but I got like 144 brushes for, I bought them for 2 bottles of them, tubes of them, and one of them was 40 something dollars, maybe $39, and then the other one was like 26 on Amazon. One of them was eBay, one of them was Amazon. They're Royal and Langnickel. I like them. I think they're good brushes. The downer is, not all of them are great. There's nothing wrong with these brushes, but these are, the bristles are too short for what it is. I can't get a point easily with these. It's okay, but like this is a number 1, which I think is the smallest one they have in this set. So it's 1 through 6. It's okay. It does the job. I should use it for more of my putting things on that I'm slopping onto the miniature. Here's a 2. Let's get it wet. It has like the same, not all of them do in the kit. I mean, for 30 cents at most or so, maybe 34 cents or something, it's not that bad per brush. But the 4s, the 3 4s and 5s, and even the 6s, I don't use the 6s much. Here's a 3. It's been sitting here, so it's not, but it comes to a point pretty well. And it's golden Taklon as well. This one is a 3. Is this a, that's a 5. This one's not, it's been cleaned up. But it's holding its point well. Is this the 4? I think the orange is the 4. It is. Holds the point. And they're mostly that way in here. So I find I can do a great job. I'm not painting Warhammer scale minis that much with them. These are bigger, but they do work. It's just I would like to have like a 0 or a 1 that is longer bristles or tight. I have several Winsor Newtons that are, you know, I think the largest one I have is a 2. Is it right here? I think it is right here. Yeah, there's a double aught, 0. Looks like another 0 and a 2. So the 2, it's a different kind of brush. It's meant to be, this is what I used to buy, and I still have, I mean, they're great, but it's a short bristles, so it doesn't hold a ton of paint. It's not bad, but this is a 2. And for me, I'm now used to longer brushes. This was exactly the size of brush I used all the time, and I don't use them as much. I have been using it somewhat lately because I actually wanted to get back to using some of my Sable, Kolinsky Sable brushes. Boy, wow, this thing's falling apart. Did I just lose a bit on me? Nope. I think this bit belongs in this. So it's weird. This is I actually have a tool, a new tool to do this, but it's not here. That was a gift from Nikki. But I have several Kolinsky sables. Actually, I have some coming from, I have Redgrass ones that I got with the Redgrass Kickstarter. I bought them. And then the stuff from Game Envy, I think I have some brushes coming from them just to see how they are. My frustration with all of them, and I'm certain the cost is just there, but they are a little steep. I mean, the Winsor Newtons are very expensive now. And I have used DaVinci and Raphael, is that what it is? I think both of those are made in Germany. And those are great, but they're not easy to get here in the United States. And Sebastian is just amazing. He does not worry about it. He doesn't spend, that is not a sharp bit is what I think is going on there. He just, I don't know, he's just great. He's very, and I mean, I'm at heart similar, but I would like some of, I mean, he has some good brushes, but, and I never want to use his because he just doesn't have, but you know, he doesn't, there's no excuses. He's like, oh, I'm just going to do it. And he uses a okay brush and just does a great job. It's funny on those the Crimson Court vampires there that I had pulled out a little bit ago, I was looking for photographic, you know, Games Workshop photographic stuff just to use it because I always say it on these streams, like just paint. Don't worry about the color scheme. Be satisfied with what you, you know, just getting good at it. And then if you want to get into choosing color, then go for it. But it turns out I took a picture from somebody at the Golden Demon stuff at Spiel. I'm like, oh, I was looking through photos yesterday, and I'm like, oh, there's a picture that I took before I painted those. You know, and it looks to me like they use the same reference photos, although their paint job was amazing, of course. Mine is just okay. It is weird, though, that it's 2025 already. I feel like 2024 just went so quickly. Yeah, that bit was not sharp. We have a handheld drill in here too. I don't know where it's at. That would probably be better than this. Because you can use the same amount of pressure but have it do more rotations and be done with it a little bit quicker. I'm being silly here. This is just silly. But I'm going to do it. I've already started. But I think I'm going to super glue the paperclip in here, but I don't see it. I did pin something with it, so that may be why it isn't here floating around, because I fixed this, I can't remember his name, but one of the Marvel United minis that got broken. I mean, Lord knows mine could be broken, I don't know. I need a tool, I'm gonna make a tool. What is your agenda this weekend? Well, my goal is, we need to film. Nikki and I we want to get back on the schedule for date night. The last one we did was in October. We just were away and Nikki got sick and we just could not do it with Nikki being sick. And so we're gonna probably film one of those at least this weekend. Because we have at least one more this month. We're trying to do those every other week. So we're kind of like doing that. I realize like the other people that are taking Tuesdays with us work on a monthly schedule. They do it not every fourth week. They do one a month and it's the end of the month or the middle of the month. And so I had to adapt our schedule to their schedule. So, because that's where we started to have a problem. And plus we have the BGG show, which needs to get back going. Everybody was just busy. Stephen Bonacore, who's on the show with us, he was traveling a lot at the end of the year. And he'll continue to travel. He's retired, in quotation marks, and is out enjoying himself, which is great. And you know, that's what you should do. I'm not sweating it. We don't have that much we need to do. Man, I don't know what I did with that paperclip. I'm just trying to decide how deep I need to make this. It doesn't really need to be too deep. I'm not pressing hard, but I don't want it to fall out. So I would like it to be like 1/4 of an inch. It's just not boring as quickly as I'd like. I am excited. Tomorrow, Stern Pinball is announcing their new machine. I mean, it's already been, they sent out an email and we'd heard about it for ages, but it's a D&D game and we're excited to see what that is. I don't know what they're doing. Not sure who's working on it, but we have suspicions. And so we're excited to see what that is. That'll probably debut the video before I wake up tomorrow. Even though I get up relatively early most of the time, it's still not early enough for Stern. I think I was on when they did I know I was, because I talked about it on stream. When they did like a sale thing, they'll sell some through their store of the limited edition machines, because they only make a certain amount of those. And they were doing Foo Fighters, and I almost bought it. Turns out I did have a credit card that would do that amount of money, but I'm kind of glad we didn't do it. We really don't need it. I'm not going to be, I had a friend who sells pinball machines write me and ask if I was going to buy one of the new one. I'm like, I would really love to, but we just don't have the room, and it's still a lot of money. I'm not even sure what the price is. They might have raised the prices this year, because they've been going for $13,000 for the limited edition ones. And if I'm going to get one of those, I probably want the limited edition one. Have a friend that buys a lot of limited edition ones, and they are the most beautiful version. Our machine, we have 2 machines, and they're both premium, so they're exactly the same mechanically as the limited edition. It just doesn't have all the beauty stuff. Mostly what it is often there's blade art, so art on the walls of the inside of the machine. There's powder coated armor, so the legs, the sides of the machine will be a color, metallic color often. I think they're always metallic. I don't know. Actually, I don't know though. I don't know if John Wick was, I feel like it was a satin black, like a suit, you know. Anyway, they, you know, that's nice. Oh, the other thing that's really the most amazing part though, besides all that stuff is great, is the back glass is on the standard ones, the Pro and the Premium. It's a Mylar translite. So it just sticks to they push it, they attach it to the back glass. The LE's has rear printed intaglio print mirrorized back glass, and it's amazing. When you see them, you're like, wow, of course these are great. But gosh, I don't know that it's worth that much more money. I think the Elvira, most recent one, I mean, they've raised the prices on those, so I'm kind of nervous about it. I'm certain they're going to be raising the price, which is fair enough, but a bummer. Let's see if this is the right size for this one. It doesn't need to go too deep into it, but do I have clippers in here? I think I put them up there. I did. I'm going to use them more here than in the tool chest. Anyway, yeah, I'm excited to see what the, because we've been hearing kind of rumblings that that's going to be the game, and it is going to be the game. Hopefully, it's neat. Sure sounds cool. I know nothing about it, but I have a lot of excitement about certain elements of it that I'm hoping. I really don't know what they're doing. I'm not even that crazy of a D&D person, but so what I'll probably do is put some colored tape or something on this that will make it stick out. Gosh darn it, I'm just dropping everything tonight. So I'm putting it in here. I drilled a little hole for it. And then I won't lose it because I will only be using it for that. Very good advice. Thanks for that. What the F is a heel? I remember that on our live stream on New Year's Eve. Let's get the super glue. I was looking for this super glue. Looking and looking and looking, and then I finally found it. I'm like, what the heck? This is a gel, and I'm not always a fan of the gel, but this is going to be a good one that I would use a gel on. But usually, too much. That's going to be a problem. Okay, but let's get it glued up. So I'm going to let that dry. Of course, I want to use this soon, so. We went to a restaurant. Oh, we went to that restaurant I was saying for. Oh, it's on my finger. And I was happy that they were open. It is a Mediterranean kind of restaurant, Lebanese maybe. And they were running Christmas videos. They have TVs. It's usually sports on there and stuff like that. Movies sometimes. But they had this cycle of all this terribly animated AI Christmas stuff. It was still funny it was intriguing to watch. But there was this one scene of these reindeer moving in the foreground, and it was like they, I do have some spray kick, maybe I should do that. The walk cycle was insane on the reindeer. I was like, Nikki, you got to see this. Now, Nikki was an animator. She's used to animate for John Kay and some other places. And so I wanted her to see, and we finally saw it. It was like never coming up. I was like, wow, they're repeating things here. How come we haven't seen that? And it was just the craziest walk cycle. And like they don't care. They got you looking. That was part of the whole deal. But it was just traditional, not great. Okay, well, I can use it now. Let me just clean that off so I don't get that in the paint. Where can we catch this? Are you talking about the Stern thing? It'll be on YouTube tomorrow. Unless you're talking about the reindeer. It's something on YouTube. Those guys are always playing stuff on YouTube, but I don't know what it is. Wow, it really seems like it's clear. I don't know why I'm having trouble with this. Pinball reveal, yeah. So it's Stern Pinball tomorrow. I'm not certain. Let me see if the email says. I didn't actually look at the video till yesterday, because I think I got the email the day before. But I just know it's on the 3rd, so it may not actually have a time. Get ready to roll. Rolling soon. I can't show it, or I would. It's very simple. It has Wizards of the Coast logo. It's a very short clip. Man, that's a good idea. Somebody's saying co-op mode would be awesome for this. So it's on Stern Pinball. It looks like they have, you see like a tiny bit of a dragon. You do hear a woman's voice, which wouldn't that be exciting if it was Deborah? I don't think she'd tell us this. She's told us many things before, but this one might be like because of IP stuff. But I know it's not. I can't imagine it'd be her. I'm trying to hear here. I have no idea. It might, I mean, I'm pretty certain it wouldn't be Critical Role, but it could be Matthew Mercer. That would be awesome too. But it would be fun if it were Deborah. There we go, the paint's coming out now. So I guess it just needed to go in there a little more. So I will keep that around. Thanks for the tip. It's not taped, but it will work. And it's pretty much in there now. Man, that kicker really activates that stuff fast. But yeah, I need a little bit of gel too of the stuff. This will last me a little bit longer, but boy, a whole bunch came out of that just now, so not good. Okay, so I want to cover up, I want to touch up the two, and I'm going to try to make it a little grayer than the flesh tone I'm using. Need a little drop of water on here too. Wow, that looks green. Oh, I guess that's the, on my monitor, it's the focus. That's too dark, or too light. Oof. Okay, well it's not black now. Now it's pale. I kind of filled in the crack there. The little, I might have gotten, even I had something fall on it, on one of them a little bit earlier. Is it not a pinball? Is it not a Stern Pinball MTG drop? Is it? I mean, it is Stern Pinball. I don't know what MTG. Oh, Magic the Gathering? No, it's D&D. It's called The Tyrant's Eye, and I'm intrigued. I really look forward to seeing it. A little bit of black, which I have here, so that will help maybe. So I'm making a flesh tone gray. Very weird. Let's see if it'll work. Too light still. So that did it. I'll probably need to put a little bit of flesh tone on top of that, or maybe just some of the Gilliman flesh, which I use all the time. Let's get some of that out. Is that right here? It is. Do you thrive in January or just survive in January? I don't know. I was tired earlier. Nikki and I were up late. Till 2. Playing video games, which we don't, basically the only time we play video games is Christmas time. And I'm not even sure when that started. But the goal is to try to get keep up on stuff. I really want to, first of all, not sleep in late. I am generally not a late sleeper, but if I'm tired, I might stay in bed. I'm actually generally ecstatic if I am able to rest, but it's not always the case. That is killer. I wonder if I should just put that, I want it to be like very visible. And it's really these paints, but it's all of these paints. So let me see if I can put this over here. I have got the last of those brushes that size. Let me see, maybe not. No, I got a few more. Let's put it there and see if I remember it. Fantastic. Great idea. Thank you so much. It means I won't lose it. And then I'll use this for my pins, which I should have a piece of that still floating around here somewhere. I don't know if I might have worked on it over there, so it might be over there. I was very happy that I was able to fix that though. Okay, so Gilliman flesh, be careful, don't let it, let me actually mix it up a little more. But I'm excited. Have you done any Comic-Cons? I have not. Nikki did one here in LA when she was working for, maybe working for John Crickfalusi, but probably working for another studio. I have not gone. I would like to go. I actually kind of want to go to Dragon Con. I've had friends tell me about it for years. And James Hudson goes. Maybe we'll go. I know that was, I don't remember exactly when that is, but I think it's like September. He moved back to Alabama in June. And I would, you know, I like James a lot. I'd like to see him again, and that would be fun. Maybe to meet up at something like that. I don't know if he works that con. He might used to. I don't know if he does any cons because he's scaled back. I mean, when he was doing working with gosh, I never remember the name of that place, Skybound. He would go to the cons, and I hung out with him. That's where we kind of bonded. He had moved to Beverly Hills when he came to work for work with Skybound when they bought his company, and I was like, I like James, and so we were trying to get together, and we did one of his, when he was with Skybound, we did one of the starting role interviews, which was really great. We had a fun time. It was really awesome for me because I got to meet with like the sound guys and the lighting guys and the tech guys, you know, stuff that I never have been on anything with before, and it was awesome, and really appreciated that. It was really nice of James. We talked about Catan, which is our big intro to this hobby. Although I did play games, sort of these style of games, when I was young with my friends' neighbors, and I loved it. Loved it. Wow, that is pretty good. That's a decent touch-up. Okay, well, fantastic. Oh, it looks like I got something on his nose, too. After the fact. Okay, let me see if I can fix that. Anyway, there's the side of his cheek. I can't even see it now. Okay, so we have one more guy to paint of the face. I usually do the face first. For whatever reason, I feel like if I need to rewind, I can always just respray the face. But I've generally done okay. My biggest problem has been just the eyes. I'm okay, and I'm getting better. Wow, there's a chunk out of his hair there too. I was saying maybe I don't need to do that, but maybe I do. It's kind of orange. Yeah, the goal is to try to keep up on all this. I want to be done. I would really like to be done with all these minis by the end of this year, if at all possible, and I think I can do it. Wow, do not touch this stuff. Just let it sit. It's already kind of gelling. I got a little bit in his hair. Now I want it to settle, so I will lay this down on here. I want it to settle as smoothly as possible, and I'll keep an eye on the sides of the face here. Use very little color. It's like a wash. Yes, the way I'm using it is, wow, this hair is my hair for sure. The way I use it is I have the contrast, Gilman Contrast Flesh, which is a great color. I was very disappointed initially, and I just wasn't using it right, because you need this. To increase the intensity or decrease it, I use the same color for all humanoid flesh except for Gamora. Gamora, and I guess, shouldn't say that on everything, but Gamora and Thanos have different, and Nebula. I have not done a Nebula. I did Scott's Nebula already. But when I was like, I don't like this flesh tone. It's too dark. And then I was at the store, and they have like a little scale to show the levels of shading. I'm like, oh, duh. I mean, I had contrast medium already. So I went back and used it. I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. And I've used it on everything. I have, let's see here. I pull out Luke Cage a lot because he's right here. But that's the same color as this one. It's just, oops, not that one. As this one. It's just the amount of contrast medium you put in it. And you could see that they're related colors. It is just amazing. I'm really, really happy with that color. Here's America. Chavez, is that her name? Yeah. Looks cool. I got two versions of that one somewhere. Here's another one. This one's pretty good. Same color for Black Widow. It's just amazing. Really good color. The issue is the undercoat. You want the undercoat to be, this one's a little too intense. It's almost dry though, and I might add a little bit more contrast medium to just lighten it up even more and do a second coat when it's dry. You definitely want to wait till it's dry. So his flesh, I got to do his hands as well. Might as well do that while I'm sitting here. But it's amazing paint. It is not a wash though, because the medium does something with the colors when they have, particularly when you use them really right out of the bottle, which you can totally do. I've done it many times on certain colors. I generally like to, since I'm not counting on the contrast paint to necessarily do the shading for me, I will, I mean, it's doing some, right? It's settling in there and giving me stuff. I will kind of inch up on it by decreasing the intensity of the color so that I can get to the color that I want and not kill the shading underneath, the undercoat. And it works pretty great. Oh, wow. What was I thinking of? I guess it's Deadpool with the two sticks, because it's literally, they are nunchucks on here. What video games we're playing? We were playing a 25-year-old game. Well, two, because we were playing, well, no, StarCraft 2 is not 25. It's 15 years old or more. We haven't played StarCraft. We have it. I think Nikki does. I know I bought her. She lost her login, and we did it again during the holidays when nobody's going to be available, probably. And we have friends that work at Blizzard, but we just didn't want to bother anybody. And so I bought it for her. And it was funny because I bought it and they made us wait for like a day So that feels to me like that was StarCraft 1, because StarCraft 2 is free to play. Even though I bought her like the deluxe versions of that. Nikki loves StarCraft. But we also were playing Age of Empires, Age of Kings, which is, I think, 25 years this year, or maybe, I feel like that one we got into, and then 2000 came around and our friend Daryl brought that one over. We were playing the original one, Age of Empires, and loved it. But we like co-ops. We like, that's RTS. We generally play we used to play it with others, and we'd be on teams, and Nikki and I wouldn't always be on the same team. But another game that we love, which we played last year, and we found it a couple years ago because we loved the original one, Pixel Junk Monsters, and they did a Pixel Junk Monsters 2, or whatever it's called, and it was great. I don't even know how I missed it. I was like, one of the nights, it might have been more than a couple years ago now, can't remember. I stayed up and I was looking at the PlayStation Store. I'm like, what the heck is this? And I looked at the trailer for it, and then I think they had a demo and I played it. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's different than the original game. We love the original game. My mom used to watch, that's got to be well before the pandemic. My mom, well, that was the original game. My mom would watch us play. Sit here and watch us play was awesome. But those are fun. So anyway, that looks pretty good. It's a little orange for me in this, and that's probably the intensity of the undercoating, but that's fine. Where did the picture go? Did something happen? Who knows? I don't even know anymore. Okay, there's that. Let me see here. Boy, the Mac is just a mystery to me. Command tab. Option tab. Nope. Okay, that's that, but I thought it was, maybe it's Control tab. No, oh yeah, there it is. But that's not taking me to enough of the tabs. Where's the, oh, there it may be here. There it is. He's got big dark eyebrows. Huh. And then this is all kind of white, so I'll probably use a, I love the Basilicon gray, but it might not be blue enough for what they're doing here. He's got a gold stripe down the center. Okay, let's try it. So I'm going to use the red. I probably am going to go a little tiny bit of contrast medium. I was not exactly, well, I can't remember exactly what I did here now, because this is what I used on these two here. I feel like I did this one first and then I did this one second. Now this had this is Scott's rattle can undercoating. I mean, it looks good. Bright is good, but I for whatever reason, I like it to be a little bit more subtle. More, like subdued, not subtle. They both look great though. So yeah, I use this. It's the same color. And I think I'm going to just do a little bit of speed paint medium in it. And I definitely need to run that little thingy through because that was the one that really had the problem. So there's a couple things that can go wrong here. Number one, if the paint dries in the tip, that's a problem. And speed paint medium is different. It is definitely not, I mean, any medium. It's the basis of the paint. It's what they use to build upon, to add the colors and the pigments, the dyes and the pigments, because that's what speed paints are. Wow, this is really great. So I think when I first did this, it had not, I don't know how long this paint set, or it's the paints, it's not a big set, sat. But it is 2.0, and 2.0 is, I can't remember when they put it out. It wasn't that long ago, maybe a year ago, more than a year ago. I feel like it's only been 2 years since they introduced speed paints. I kind of feel like they got the good name. I like contrast paints, but I think speed paint is the name that's more indicative of what you're doing. Adam, my friend Adam Loper, Uncle Adam on Tabletop Tycoon. Nope, Tabletop Minions. Tycoon is Dan. He's the one that introduced me to the using the Zenithal undercoat for contrast paints, and it's great. But he works for not full time, but he does. He's told me what it is. He does do event stuff, and he did some videos. There's one thumbnail on the Army Painter Paints that his thumbnail looked terrible. I do not know what they did. But anyway, he went to Sweden, and did some videos that I think they released a little while after he was there, which was exciting. I mean, very, very cool. And he was telling me a little bit about some of the things that are upcoming that could be pretty awesome. And one of the things, which I cannot tell you because I don't know whether it's even going to happen, was very exciting. Okay, so now I will not use this brush. I will use this brush. Probably should use a chunkier one. Let's try this one. But yeah, it was funny. We had, it says like 25th anniversary on the Age of Empires, Age of Kings. I'm just laughing. You know, that was done by Ensemble back in the day, who's no longer around. They got bought by Microsoft, I think, so Xbox Studios is the head of that, but yeah, we played that back in the day a lot. We used to do LAN parties, and that was what we played here. We have not played much of it with anybody else in many years. We did do, for Nuki's birthday a while back, we had an actual LAN party again, and everybody, including my brother, so this was before he moved away, showed up. It was great. And we played games, and I think we ordered pizza from the same place we always ordered it from. It was really fun. It's what she wanted to do, and it was great. Really fun. I remember, I can't even remember why I wasn't playing. I obviously had something I had to do. But people would come over when we weren't playing during the week and play, because they'd just leave their computers here. And so my brother and our friend Daniel were playing in the middle of an afternoon, and I was there, but I wasn't playing. I don't know what was going on. The timing for that would have been that I was at Kaiser, most likely. So I was definitely with Kaiser. So this is the rattle can undercoating. It looks pretty good. I did paint a little bit of standard white paint over it to try to reduce the weird sponginess that had. And you know, Scott might have painted these in wintertime. I don't even remember. And it is tough. Rattle can is a challenge. You have to worry about it. Now, I will tell you this though. Other than that bit of that I had with the undercoating on the Crimson Court, generally I don't have a problem when Sebastian paints does the paint the black with rattle can outside in cold weather. We've been there when it's snowing, and he's done it. I'm not really sure what his technique is. I don't remember. I think he paints them and brings them in that case, but usually leaves them out even in the cold. Maybe that's it. Maybe he just leaves it in the cold so it will be, it won't change the temperature. I don't know. But he's had no problems generally, and I have had no problems. But humidity could be the problem, and when it's cold, the humidity is low, potentially or generally. And Scott might have done it when it was more humid in Dallas. I don't really remember. But you know, any of those things could have happened and given us a little bit of grief on the undercoating, but it is pretty good. I mean, I remember, I talked about this many times now, but when Adam did one of the paint streams for one of the our virtual cons that we did, he did some Hellboy kind of minion dudes that had coats that he did it with the rattle can, and the coats looked like a wool, you know, or something like that because of that undercoat, and it looked great. Car alarm. Wow. I never hear car alarms anymore. We did go to a hobby store the other day, and I was looking for Milliput, and they had it. It was expensive, but you know, it's a hobby store. They don't have a lot of customers, so I don't mind. But I also didn't need multiple tubes. That was any place I was ordering except I could have ordered it from the store in Burbank and probably just gotten it. I should have gone with that. But I wanted to just go there, but I just knew I wasn't going to get over there anytime soon. Maybe tomorrow. But and I still haven't used the stuff I got this weekend. But regardless, I was happy to just get it. But we walked in, and the alarm went off as we're walking in, so the car was already parked. Like, what is going on? And we talked to the guy inside, and he's like, it's been going on for over an hour, just randomly going on and stopping. I'm like, wow, okay, so it wasn't us, because we weren't even near it by that point in time. And I'm like, man, you just never hear those anymore. I did not do his flesh on his arm. It actually extends below the bracelet. So I need to do that. This looks like Santa Claus looking. Almost put in the wrong color. Oh, is it on his shoulders? It sure is. Ugh, making a mess. I need to touch that up because it will be pink. Okay. Should have known. I did it on the other side. But I mean, look how cool he looks already. And this is barely any paint on it. And you really don't need to do a lot. And these are large scale, right? I mean, I used a mix of standard acrylics and contrast paints on the, and the speed paints on those Crimson Cork minis, and they look great. Those are small, you know, that's not my... I paint those, I paint 40K stuff. Mostly larger units, though, because I'm gonna end up doing, hey, zombugs. Mostly painting, thanks for the follow. I'm mostly painting stuff from GW that's larger, although I was painting those Hearthkin units and those are small. But you know, these paints work for all of the stuff, but do an amazing job on these where I feel like it's a good one for people to get into the painting your minis. Ugh, man, I have a cramp in my hand. I should be stopping. Let me see if I can clean that up. Yeah, it should just put white on it. I know it's because I'm dehydrated. I'm so dehydrated. So this is one of the speed paint brushes that came with that set. Oh my gosh, I'm getting it on everything. And it's not a bad brush, you know, it's not bad at all. Okay. And I do like the triangular handle. It's very nice and stable. I do roll brushes sometimes in my hands, so these don't roll that easily. The one game I'd actually like, video game I'd like to play that Ensemble did, I believe, was Star Wars Galactic Battle Force or something. I can't remember what it was called exactly. But I believe they used the Age of Empires engine, not the Age of Empires 2 engine. And I think it's out there. It might even be available on Steam like these were. Oh, there's some stuff on his leg I didn't get. But I remember it was after Age of Empires 2 came out, I believe. And so I was disappointed by the end result, but it was still fun. And there is I believe there's some, I know there is, because I watched a video about it, like a effort to bring the graphics up to HD standards or something like that. So that could be cool. Did I get anything good for Christmas? I sure did. I got a lot of, because everybody's always frustrated because they don't know what to get me. There's always people telling me to put stuff on my Amazon wish list, and I put a bunch of stuff on there. So I got there was a box set of CDs of Blondie's stuff, which I don't have a lot of their stuff. I'm not sure how many CDs of theirs I have. Not that they had that many albums, but this just seemed like a cool collection. It wasn't terribly expensive. I mean, nowadays, all that stuff is kind of inexpensive because everybody does it as a service, which is frustrating. Because I want the artists to make decent money, and I know a lot of these people don't make good money from streaming. I mean, there was a Lily Allen thing just weeks ago where she said she's like doing OnlyFans for her feet because maybe her nail person, you know, like a salon person, like, you got great feet, you should do this. And so she did, and she's making more money than she makes from Spotify. And it's like, what? And I think Kate Nash, another British artist, did something about, like, she's like, it's not embarrassing, but she showing her bum on OnlyFans to sponsor a tour for her band. And I'm like, what the heck? And it's just ridiculous, because that's where artists make money, is on the touring, and for her to have to, you know, I mean, she's doing it by her own decision, that's fine with me. But it's just a bummer. Like, she's a performing artist. We will buy, if they have things, we will buy shirts and CDs from a band when we go see the shows. We don't go as much as we used to, but there's a band we like called the Lemon Twigs, a couple of young guys. They're now in their mid-20s, mid to late 20s, which is actually shocking. Because when I first found them, they were 15 and 17, I think. And I'd never seen them live till a couple of years ago. I saw they were touring. I'm like, what? So we made an effort to go. We have friends that had gone, but we never went. And it was a great show. They are really very talented, very kind of retro, which, you know, not everybody's into. I'm especially a Beatle fan, so that kind of has that flavor, some of their stuff. They are definitely fans of that. But they like Todd Rundgren and things like that, so it's cool. And Meatloaf. And so they do cool stuff. And it's a good show. They're a good show. Very, very, very good players. And multi-instrumentalists. That's what's crazy. The older brothers really crazily. I mean, they both play drums, they both play bass, they both play guitar. I went to one of the tours. We were hoping to buy their latest CD, and they did not have it. And it actually took us a while to get it. How did I end up getting it? I think I went and got it at a... Wow, that's terrible. Getting paint everywhere. I mean, I know where I bought the album, but... Oh, I know what happened is I ordered it on Amazon, and it was just delayed. I think what happened was I didn't... No, I pre-ordered that album. I don't know what happened. It didn't come, and I ended up buying it at a store when we were in Hollywood. So that must have been when we went to the... We did go to Funko before Funko Games folded. I mean, Funko's still around, but the design studio's gone. But they had an event for the Jurassic World Legacy of Isla Nublar game. And so we went to the store, and it's right down the street from a place called Amoeba, which is a cool... Oh man, this color is not good. It's too brown. I'm using the gray. Anyway, they moved to a location on Hollywood Boulevard, which is fine. The old location was amazing on Sunset near the Cinerama Dome. And that was my first time going because it actually closed. I feel like we went there with Daryl. No, not Daryl, Derek. As the world was closing down. And you know, Derek's not an album guy. He loves music, but they closed the store after that. They were right, I think during that time they had to close down, and they might have been in there doing it. I saw people wearing gloves and stuff in early March of 2020. And so they folded that store and then moved to a new location and had a lot of time to work on the new location. But they had owned that property where the building was in, and they sold it well before they had to move out. Years. And it was going to be an apartment building, but it's still not. They've had like event space in there, like art exhibits or something like that, which is terrible because it was a great store, but it was too big, probably for any store like to have that kind of inventory. But this was my first time at the new location, so I bought it there, and then of course Amazon had already shipped that disc that day, so I have 2 copies of that CD. But I also got a lot of DVDs. That was the only CD I got. So Nikki got me the Mad Max quadrilogy set, which is awesome because it includes the black and chrome editions of both Fury Road and Furiosa, which is awesome. They were 4K, but sadly the Fury Road is only a Blu-ray. They didn't do that one in in 4K, but they did do Furiosa in 4K, which is awesome. And then I got some 3D movies. We have a 3D TV and a 3D projector, and so I asked for some of those movies I've never seen, but I would love to have. So it was like one of the perfect kind of gift. So I always have them. Add them. I add one here. I got one. I did not know. So the way that it's the 3D archive, I think is what it's called. They restore a lot of the releases, and they had this one, The Stewardesses, and it had a Francis Ford Coppola short on it and all this stuff. But her mom's like, I think I bought Lincoln porn. Like, what? And it is indeed like a softcore porn thing. And I'm like, I don't care about The Stewardesses, but I think I've watched the Francis Ford Coppola thing, and it is like a burlesque thing, I think. I can't remember. But it's just hilarious. She's 100% right, and I've never owned anything like that. But it is like late 60s, so it's pretty much not much. But I didn't really, I watched it, and I think it's on the library. So I have everything on a Plex server that I make. And those are easy to get the rips for. And some things are not. And so I don't really want to have porn on there, but I think that's still on there. I think I warned Brian, because we actually share I don't share it with many people, but we share our Plex so that, because he's got different taste, it's fun. He does not watch that much of my stuff, and I don't watch that much of his, but occasionally we do. What I'm really trying to do is figure out how to back it all up. It's already backed up sort of on the Synology. I want the kind of backup that is not retaining old versions of anything. If I'm updating a file, it is a new version. So I'm trying to figure that out. So what happened was 2 years ago, I had my network attached storage failed, and the disks were fine, but the machine died, and it just freaked me out. And so I haven't obviously gotten it together yet, but I am working on it. And he looks like Santa Claus here. We need to get this not Santa Claus-y. He's like a Power Ranger Santa Claus. But I also got, what else did I get? So yeah, I got Robot Monster, which is a 3D thing that they did. Restoration, I got The Man Who Wasn't There, which is a early 80s Steve Guttenberg thing. Wow, I feel like this is going to be too dark on him. Maybe I airbrush his torso a little more, because this looks pretty darn good. What else did I get? Nikki got me a air blower, a battery-powered one that Scott had that is great. And amazing, she was great. She remembered it. I was excited about that. It's a downer because it's another system that we don't need. Boy, what color should I use that on that? It's all gold. It's another power system, so it's another charging thing, but it's a great charger, a great blower, and the one that from the manufacturer that I have systems from, which hilariously, I have 2 different charging systems from those. I'm like, whatever. But it's nice and lightweight, but very strong. Although I saw a Kickstarter thing for a tool that has a pretty, I don't know how powerful it really is, battery-powered handheld unit that looks kind of like an oversized blow dryer. It looked pretty amazing. From I don't know who the company is, but I've ordered things from Magpie Tech. I backed it on Kickstarter. So I keep getting, it says it's from Magpie Tech. I don't know if it's really them. But Wow, that really does look red. I thought I painted that. I did catch up on a bunch of videos from YouTube people, which is cool. I watched the latest Miniac, which was interesting. He's having, like, he's doing something where he's back to trying to do weekly content, which is work. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And when you're painting something to do that, it's challenging. I mean, we do a lot for ours, and you know, he's doing that by himself, so it's not as hard. For us, it's a bit of a challenge to get everybody here at the same time. I did do his hands on this one. Boy, you cannot tell. It is too gray. But I'll go with it and see how it turns out. But yeah, I ended up doing everything on Plex. Well, somebody convinced me to do that with all my discs. I have a lot of DVDs and Blu-rays and 4K and CDs, and I had started ripping my CDs over 20 years ago. I remember doing it like when we were dealing with like my father's passing and everything. It was really weird. So it was 2001, is that right? Good gosh, yes. My dad passed away. Wow. No, that can't be right. I think it is. Wow, man, that's really a long time ago. Anyway, when he passed, my brother was helping me like make the decisions, like how big the file, because you know, it certainly wasn't 2011, it was 2001. You know, storage was expensive, and so he helped me pick the right, for us at the time, level of compression. You know, he's an audio engineer, producer, so he gave me some advice and I went with that, and it's pretty good. I don't have a real problem with any of it, but wow, that's just too dark. I have changed the compression rate of stuff nowadays, but you know, at the time it was really, really expensive. And so I've found like the software that I needed to make it to, you know, I would use like players and MP3 players, like my, I had a Creative Labs, is that it is? What it was? They, you know, used to do sound cards and stuff, and they had a couple of players. It's just going to be black. I don't know why I'm dealing with this. Anyway, or dark brown. And then somebody convinced me to do my DVDs and stuff. They're just like, you really should, and then you have access to it with like a home theater PC and stuff like that, because we actually have just, it's all out. It's not just laying around, but it's all out, but it's not looks like blood, but we have them in storage racks, you know, like as much as we can. Admittedly there are some things stacked up. Interesting, look how there's a huge gap on that arm. That's annoying. Anyway, I don't know that I could fix that, and it doesn't go any closer, so the glue that they used is pretty strong. Anyway, but yeah, I ripped everything and put them on the server, and just to fiddle with that, you know, as time goes on. And I'm glad I did it, but I drove Nikki crazy with it because I'm very meticulous, and I would be working on I like the original movie posters and stuff like that. So, but I can watch movies from on my phone or anywhere, which is cool. I don't share it, which is one thing a lot of people do. I do share it with Brian and Scott and my mom. I'm using the wrong brush. Not enough paint. I guess it's this one. But Plex ended up being the best. I think I used Xbox Media Center for a little while. Hey, Steph. Hey, everybody. How was... Oh, I didn't mess it up. How was things... What was Steph playing? Thanks for rating. I'm just painting my Marvel United stuff here, getting there. Trying to do Shang-Chi today. Hey everybody, you guys have such good emotes. I did not make enough paint, and I was certain I did. I never have it right. But painting 3 of these is actually pretty great. It's not too hard. And I'm doing them simultaneously. So when I was doing, I've done some Warhammer Underworlds for Scott, and I always give him the best ones, the one I like the most. But I don't feel I have to actually do that on these. I think these come out pretty great. Oh my gosh, Steph has a friend who is a great painter. I love his stuff. And he's not only just great at painting, he does all kinds of custom builds and stuff. It's just so awesome. His name is Scott. He does not, I think he lives far on the East Coast, and Steph is no longer in the same town. Gosh, I'm not in focus at all, and I'm getting paint, the worst paint everywhere. Red is just awful as far as staining everything. Did you guys play anything exciting? Scott Ferrier, that's exactly it. I didn't want to say his name, but if you're cool saying it, Scott's awesome. And I love his Deep Sea Adventure, and he's just great. Oh, I just painted over the thing on his center. Dang it. Getting carried away here, talking about other stuff. I really don't want that red on that, because the gold is hard to... I mean, I can paint the gray. We did our top 10 of December and played Caracas and Alpine Rails. Nice. He does make so much fantastic upgrades. Scott's great. Really, really talented. And patient. I have done very little sculpting, and I'm not truly sculpting, I'm just doing mods. Like new, I've done some, I've fixed things. I actually had a problem with Squirrel Girl and was able to resculpt her ear, and it turned out great, but it's not common that I will do anything too insane anymore. This looks pretty good. It's not as vibrant for sure, but it's kind of the right amount of intensity and it'll be fine. Well, I hope you guys had a good New Year. We had a great time. It was fun to stream. I mean, we did 2 long streams. That one was only 5.5 hours, but the over 8 hour one for on the 21st was cool. There was a lot of people over. Missed many. I was very sad that Aaron couldn't make it. He was excited to come and could not do it. I need to check. I mean, I checked in with him, but I need to check in on him, see how everything's going. Somebody on the stream asked if he'd be coming back. I'm like, well, he emailed me and said he wanted to do the advent calendar next year, so which we are going to start early because I do not want to do what we did again this year. Only one year. We've had one good year where we were able to get it done before December, which was super helpful. Bright red. Thanks for lurking at least. We had fun though, it was good. And you know, we used to do the 24-hour streams and they were great. But man, it's just, we're not built for that anymore. I mean, if we had to do it, we could probably do it, but oh my gosh. Even the midnight one was the one that was killer this time. Because we only were up till, I think we went to eat. There were only 4 of us left. It was Amanda and Rusty. Candace had to leave to go home, and they were doing a brisket. She needed to leave like at 8. And so she was working on that. And so the 4 of us went out to eat. And it was crazy because it was Saturday and it was the only place open. It's so crazy anymore. Nothing is open late. Well, not the only place, but one of the only places that was open was a place called HQ, which is loud music. They have a video DJ, really cool. A little bit too much Christmas stuff. Did we get whammed there? No, we did not. I don't think. We heard it in a store. I'm like, is that really Wham? And Nikki's like, it's Wham. I'm like, well, we were whammed. Whamageddon. But it was really cool there. We had a great time. We've gone there many times because it's open. The kitchen's like open till after midnight, I believe. And as a matter of fact, I think one of the first times Deborah came over, we went there. It's like, and she was, extremely patient with us. She's a much more mild person, but she had a good time. I think it was Dave, Nikki, Deborah, and myself, if I recall correctly. So that would have been 2019. We generally go to a quieter place. We try to be done. That's the goal now, since everything closes so early, to try to get to a place that we can go to. I put too much contrast medium in there. That is a bummer. It's mostly done though, so I can do a couple coats on that, I guess. Happens to the best of us. Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's funny, but, and then we heard Careless Whispers like yesterday. And he's like, oh man. The joke was we said we were whammed on our advent calendar because they were talking about the elf was talking about the song, and we were like, oh my gosh, we got whammed in this. But it was like, you didn't actually hear it. I'm like, we know. And Deborah didn't even know what we were talking about. So there you go. It's like, what? I don't even know. I think she didn't even know the song. But somebody said, yeah, you have to hear the actual song to be whammed. She's like, I might know it based on what you guys, or maybe till you sang it. I don't know, but it's funny. There's a movie that is called Last Christmas, and I'm sure they probably have that song in it. His butt has a little spot on there that's, seems like there's something underneath there. It's funny, we're watching What If, and they had one that was like in the Old West with Shang-Chi and Kate Bishop. And it was both of those folks doing the voices. But they were talking about that they called him 10 Rings, but I never saw the 10 Rings in the show, so I was like, what is going on? But I don't think we've watched all of them. It's the final season. I kind of feel it's good to be over, because the stories were kind of not as great. I lost Whamageddon 5 times this year. So you heard it 5 times in the month, Opal? Of all the figs that I painted so far, I mean, I will. I mean, every once in a while I pull them out. There's a bunch. I was showing the other day, I have the plastic storage for the, I mean, I can now show it. Do I have another one to paint? I do have one more. It's zoomed in though, too much, but I have them right here. These are a bunch of them. This is probably the biggest group of them. So, you know, I did Squirrel Girl there. I was talking about her. And there's Doctor Strange and Vision and, let's see if we can get it to focus. Problem is all this glaring plastic. Wanda and Quicksilver and Okoye and Clint, Hawkeye, Iron Patriot. I guess I kind of was doing him as Captain America, but it's really Falcon, and there's Nick Fury and what is her name? Ms. Marvel. I love her. She's great. Rhino. Bullseye, I guess his name is. Kingpin. MODOK. One of the Thanos' children, I don't remember. Corvus Glaive, I think. Baron Nemo. Kang. Carnage. Venom. I'm not 100% sure on those two. Hela and Dormammu. I really like Dormammu. Hela looks great too. She looks kind of like a wax figure with the skin. But this one I did, you know, these two I did some airbrushed zenithal highlighting here. Let's see if I can get that to focus. This one turned out great. I really was happy. I'm eager to do the other two now. Let's see if I can sort of replicate it. Because some of it was airbrushed, and I think I painted all this up front with a paintbrush, but the rest of it was airbrush. Turned out cool. I need to get this covered. And then these are the ones that I have in here that are done. There are a few more, but you can see, this is all I have left to paint, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, but I have some of them in here already, are almost done. Definitely Daredevil's done. Mockingbird is done. This guy I don't know. Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Punisher. I'm sorry, these are not on the shot. This is Spider-Man 2099 or something like that. America Chavez, Moon Knight. Oh, sorry, America Chavez, Moon Knight. I really like the way these turned out. I need to paint Scott's. Blade and Adam Warlock, I think is what that one's called. I think he's in. It's not the same look if it's the same guy in Guardians 3. But yeah, those are the ones I have like here, and I have a bunch more. But I have Scott's. There's a bunch over here. Ooh, it just broke. Oh, I can't stand these things. I cannot let these fall. I have to glue it back on. This is Nemo, I think. Baron Nemo. Or, is that right, Baron Nemo? That doesn't sound right. Zemo, maybe? I don't know. Ugh, These break too easily. Oh, this totally broke his foot. Ugh. So frustrating. I'm going to try to glue this, but I'm going to probably have to pin it. Yeah, they can't. So this is the early plastic. The newer ones, I think, are better. So we get to do it here. I do have a needle to do this on with. Most of all games, but for now I will lurk. It is, Steph, it's not my favorite. I really love it, and I love the minis. They're fun. I mean, I have hundreds more to do, so I better get on it. I have soft jaw pliers. I got this open a minute ago. Yeah, it's okay. It's not a big deal. They get broken all the time. That is the problem. But yeah, they're cool. I like doing them a lot. There we go. It'll glue up perfectly fine. It will stay in my collection, so it won't get too messy. So I used a needle to do this, and I will tell you, getting super glue off with acetone is great. Did a really great job. So yeah, it kind of broke the, I don't know exactly what was going on there. It definitely broke the ankle. So I know that feeling. I have to be cautious because this one's done. Hey, that's already 8. Well, once I glue this, I'll be done for the night. I gotta call my mom. Oof, that's terrible, man. I've had to glue, well, I did fix the one. This guy, he was crazy though. I mean, it's got one connection point here, and then these 3, which I guess, yeah, those are definitely, I think this whole thing was either, maybe they glued that onto it, I don't know, but I had to pin it for it to work. And I've glued a couple others. I did the Iron Man, which I showed several times. I think he's right over here. And it looks okay. But yeah, this is a bummer that it broke on the ankle. Baron Zemo, I think that's his name. Well, I will hold it. It'll be okay. You can see a little bit of the glue there. It's not perfect. I wish I could spray that stuff on it, but I do not want to paint it on. I do like the polka dots on his leopard spots or whatever on his fur collar and on his boots. Let me just set that to dry. I wish I could use the plastic glue on it. I was going to show you Iron Man. I do not know if this is the one. I think it is though. Yeah, no, this is not the one. I don't know where the pinned one is. I've painted so many Iron Man ones. I'll get to that. That's Ghost Rider. I need to do that one soon. But yeah, it's not fun. I have 2 that I need to paint. I'll show you those. These, I think, popped off the feet on the connection to the base, which is fine. But you can see here, this is Luke Cage. This happened in shipping, unfortunately. I might as well glue it now. I'm doing this stuff now. And this is, I don't know, is this? I don't know, I was bummed. They shipped these wrong. And, you know, you can see they're glued with like super glue, but. Okay, what do I do with that paper clip? Not that one. Not paper clip, toothpick. Ugh. Glue. Did I make a mess? There it is. I definitely need some more gel. It's pretty good for this stuff. But yeah, they popped right off. I was really sad about the Iron Man one because it's a very small connection point for two legs, and it was frustrating. Now this one hasn't been painted, so it should be perfectly fine. Luke Cage was touched up, but I can fix him. I mean, it's just primed. Oof, don't like glue on my fingertips. Hundreds is lots to do, yes. But I volunteered because Scott's not going to paint his, and he wants them painted. And I'm like, look, I'll paint them. Just get them. Let's get them to me. And happily, we did. And they're mostly in great shape. So the primed ones I have to clean up, though. They all got scratched. Okay, Luke Cage goes like this. Just leave him and not touch it, and it should be perfectly fine. And then Lady, who I do not know her name. Looks cool though, it's a cool mini. But yeah, you can see there are two little connection points on her feet. It's not very big. Now they put them together when there's obviously these are cast separately, and this is her head is probably separate. Yeah, you can see here from her body, but it looks pretty good. But yeah, I wanted to fix these. I wanted to keep them separate because I did not want to lose track of what needed to be fixed. So those three, hopefully they'll be fine. Those two should be fine. Baron Zemo, I don't know. His ankle, it looks like it's going to be fine. As long as I don't throw him around. But yeah, I have so many to paint. Oh wait, is this the Iron Man? This is the one right in front of me. So you can see here, there's some scratches that I didn't really have any putty. I do now, it's not in here. But I had to pin him. I put one into the body of to the leg and really did it long, so it should be solid. It feels way more solid than it did. And then just glued that piece. But it should be okay. It's just a bummer. They're not... Now, I think this was still wave 1. I don't know if I've broken any of wave, the second printing of these. Now, I'm not 100% certain that my friend had bought them at the same... I think he did. So I think he got the second wave. So his minis are the newer plastic. So I imagine it's probably more durable than these. Boy, I've really wasted a lot of this glue. Especially because I do like it, but whatever. I need to throw that out because it will stick to my hand. Already seems to have done that. Okay, well, there you go. I need to paint, let me see if I can do them pretty quick. Wow, I didn't clean that brush. That is bad. You have to keep up on these. The speed paints dry faster than the, and it's an interesting situation. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but you have to be on it with it dries in the belly of the brush, maybe because there's just more paint there, and for this case, it's not like the contrast paints. Contrast paints don't seem to clog up the brush unless I've left it. Now, of course, I did leave this one. Let's see here. Okay, I want to try to do the other Shang-Chi. Not that brush. It is funny that it is the weekend because all of us here have just had it all wrong in our head the whole time because of New Year's Eve on Tuesday, and New Year's Day on Wednesday. My mom came over and was like, this is Sunday in my head. And I go, it feels like Sunday to me too. And then we'll see her again on Saturday, so short week for her. I really should be using a mini holder. But you should have seen the tray. I had the tray full of Scott's minis, and it was full, and there's still a good chunk of them outside of that tray. But I put all the other ones in that Christmas ornament box. What's really cool about that box is it's straight sides. So I was able to cram a lot in there. You know, I would not put them in there like that painted. I will probably, there's a German company that makes great miniature storage stuff, and they had something I saw on Amazon that said it holds 200 minis now. That's not big enough for all the stuff, but I thought I could send some of that stuff back to them. They shipped everything with tissue paper, you know, like paper towels and stuff. And I could potentially do that. I saved everything. I just want to store the boxes elsewhere right now while I'm painting. So I'm probably going to fill up the other tray. Well, there's 3 trays in it. I'm going to try to fill up the trays with the 2 sets of minis. And then just, I wish that, so when we packed them originally, Scott and I packed them by expansion, and they got all mixed up. And it was, to me, a plastic cement. I broke some good, I made a better way to glue plastic, so I have to glue with Tamiya plastic. So I use Tamiya, but that plastic cement does not work on this plastic. I tried to use it, and I love Tamiya plastic cement. I was actually shocked. So I was saying on the stream like last week that I love Revell cement, plastic cement. They have, it's like a triangular kind of bottle with a needle to apply, and it's great. And I could never find it, and they had it at Smith Brothers, which is where I bought the Milliput. Like, wow. Now I don't need it because I have a lot of the Tamiya. I have both the slow and quick setting, and probably standard is what it is. Yeah, and they're great. There was one, supposedly, you can get giant bottles of that stuff that is like a, I don't know if it's an airbrush cleaner or what it is, but it is the exact same stuff as that glue. I need to look it up again. I don't really need it, but I was like, wow. I mean, as I've already told you, I already have too many bottles of giant things. I really don't need it, but I was like, wow, if I ever need a lot of plastic cement, maybe that's the way to go. Jackie had a game day over at her place where she had some musicians, one of whom was somebody who I went to school with that I did not know. Chris, my brother, knew. His name's Steve McDonald. He was in the band, or is in the band, Red Cross. There's a documentary. But I'm eager to hear what she had to say. She was on our, you know, in the chat on our stream on New Year's Eve. Because she was telling us the day, I think it was the day after she was at our place on the 21st, they were doing it. I want to know how well that turned out for them. You know, I guess they were all musicians. I don't remember who the other couple was, but I saw the post like a day or so later. I'm like, oh, but I wonder how the game, you know, they may play games. I don't know. She was actually, she wanted to try to do something on our show with musicians, and she had so many people that couldn't do it. So she's like, we're not going to be able to make it happen. I'm like, oh, that would have been fun, but no worries. It was great for us to play it. I really like it. And Amanda had helped play test it for Jackie. So it was great having her around. We didn't get it 100% right at the very end there. And I saw the Brothers Murph did a stream of it last week, or maybe earlier this week. I don't remember now. I have not watched it. I'd like to see it. I really love the game. Jackie was telling us about you know, because you can't get it right now. They are doing a reprint and they're making a few changes, which is cool. Things that will help the gameplay be a little more clear. The game is fine. You just need to know what to do. I mean, as is. You just need to understand what the icon is. There's the no candy icon on the stuff, which we thought you could do that stuff with when you're using candy, but it was what it means. I mean, we got it right in the show. But what it means is you can't. I think we played it right. I know that Dave explained it mostly right or whatever. I can't remember if we had to put a note, but we knew what the situation was. Jackie had told us about it. But what it really means is that you can't do the same action again on candy, which is confusing, and that's why I think Jackie was not wanted them to change that, and they did not want to. But man, it is a nice production. I do wish we got the Jackie card. Oh man, it is going to the post. Whatever. I'll paint that white again. Or gray. But yeah, we didn't get the Jackie card. Number one, we weren't going to do it on the show. Maybe we'll print one or something. I think she only has one. And she should give it to somebody who really worked on the game. Maybe, because I think Amanda wants one if she gets one. Don't give her copy, of course. Maybe they'll do another run of them when they do the next run. But I would like to get one, but I'm not going to go crazy. Somebody was charging a lot of money for one on, I think, the game in that on eBay. Need to clean that. Oh yeah, it's the same paint, that's why. So I need to paint the kneecaps, and I think that's it for the red, and we'll wrap it up for today. I guess I'll stream on Tuesday to get us back in the swing of things. I'll probably do another paint stream. And then we'll have another game night, date night, a game night live on, well, we're gonna do a game night, date night for Tuesday. Wow, that's actually very close. Anyway, we're gonna do a game night live on next Thursday evening. And we'll figure out something new to play, hopefully. We have a lot of games, we just haven't. We played Fromage a couple weeks back, and that one's great. I cannot wait to do it on the show. I was lost. I mean, Nikki did a great job on it. I just kind of like missed my opportunity on some stuff. Because you have only it's a very quick game. Well, that looks cool. So this isn't so bad with the darker painted mini. It's not as intense as that one, but I'm going to darken this one up anyway, so. Okay, everybody, well, let's get back to the right window for that. There we go. Okay, well, that's it. Let's see if there's somebody we can raid. I need to clean these brushes. I'm putting them aside. I'm super happy that I'm feeling okay here because I was tired, really tired. So YouTube, we won't be able to, oh, you're switching over to Twitch, awesome. Yeah, we can't raid on YouTube. I really wish we could. Gen Con Bonzinator is playing Paper Dungeons. That's where we're going to probably go. See if there's anything else exciting out there. I'm excited about that D&D pinball announcement tomorrow. Trailer Park Boys. Okay. Well, we're going to raid Bonds. She's already got like 60-some viewers. Everybody, you take care. It'll automatically go over to YouTube on our live page, boardgamegeek.com/live. That's where we have our streams and others listed. If you want to check that out, see next time we stream. I updated this month today, so It's all the way through the month. Hopefully it's accurate. I'm going to double check some things. But we have our schedule on there, and some Good Time Society, and Ruel's stuff, and Amanda Panda's stuff on there, and Bonzinator's sometimes on there, and Benita Core is on there. So you should check it out if you want to see. And it's a good place to watch too. You can watch it and look at the chat too, and still be on BGG, which is awesome. Not a big deal. It's probably better for you to be on Twitch. But anyway, so here we go. Let's try it. Say hi for me, okay? And I will see you guys next Tuesday, and have a great weekend. I am definitely ready to take a nap. I'm going to sleep in tomorrow. I don't have any serious plans. I probably will have to do a video, prepare a video, and here we go. Okay, everybody, bye-bye. And YouTube folks, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate you all being there, and the chat has been fantastic. You all have a great evening, and I will see you next week. Have a great weekend as well. Bye, everybody.